Welcome back to the Witch's Way podcast. I'm Kat.
And I'm Jayme. And tonight we are talking about reclaiming your intuition, that wild voice within. This is a huge problem. I get asked about this a lot as far as how to, learn to trust your intuition more. How do you know it's your intuition? Like, what does that sound like? How do you know to believe it? There's a slew of questions and problems that come up with intuition. And I've never really seen anybody teach it in a way that I've benefited from. It's just been like the whole culmination of this is that you just start practicing it and then listening. Like I have done exercises before in the past where it's like, take a drive. When you think you want to turn, and it like leads you to something somewhere. I swear to God, if you try to trust your intuition in that way, when you're taking a drive and you just end up somewhere, there's something that's going to happen. It is so weird. I have done that multiple times before. So anyways, this is one of the things. If you are constantly looking for the universe to give you a sign, if you are always turning to divination to get answers, this is a very clear indication that you do not trust your intuition, that you're not able to hear it, or if you do hear it, you don't believe it. It can sound like something that's inside of you that's like possibly just lying or something, and we've been conditioned. And that's one of the things that we're going to talk about tonight.
Conditioned not to trust ourselves.
Conditioned not to listen to it, conditioned not to trust ourselves, conditioned to think that it's, negativity in our head or it's false. I mean, this is really coming out in studies now too with psychology, especially for women, how we're kind of made to ignore our senses, being alone with a man, getting into elevators with men, like just these situations where we can feel very vulnerable and our whole body sort of goes into a state of hyper awareness because you're like, ooh, I don't think,
Well, you just had that situation when you went and looked at, what did you go look at?
My neighbor, my very single older male neighbor's car. He's a project guy. He lives alone. Never see him with people. He's on my block. Nice guy. I know his dog more than I know him, which is, just kind of funny. But yeah, he was like, oh my gosh, you should see this car I'm working on. And I was thinking, and this is the way that all serial killer movies start, is that a man lures a woman to the house or somewhere to see something. And I was like, don't go, Jayme, don't go. And I went anyways. And the whole time I was like, I should text somebody. I should call somebody. I should not do this. And I told the one rule I said was, I'm not going to go in his house. And luckily the car was just sitting in his driveway, like in broad daylight in front of everybody in it. But still, I was very nervous and I felt that internal battle so hard because it's something that I know and I'm still doing it. I'm still like, it'll be fine. It's Danny's. It's blah, 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 blah.
You're two houses away from your safe home.
I'm 2 houses away from my house. Like, yeah. But then I told you, I thought of the Lovely Bones movie.
The Lovely Bones.
And if you haven't read the book, The Lovely Bones, oh my God, such a good book. Oh, heartbreaking, but also just so very interesting. Yeah. And so why do we doubt ourselves all the time? Why is it, we're going to get into that because it's really...
Yeah, why do we doubt ourselves?
Yeah.
So much of the time.
Yeah.
How did our intuition get quiet to start with? Because we were born with it. It's there. It's in us.
Absolutely.
It's inherent in us.
Absolutely.
But it gets squashed down, I think, over many years of experiences or society. So our experience in society, that society tells us, don't worry about that, girl, you're fine. Come on, let's go with these guys and get in this car, right?
No. What? Yeah.
So it can come from pressure, or society. But we'll talk about how it got quiet, how we silenced our intuition, if you will, and then how do we get it back? How do we call it back? How do we start trusting ourselves again?
And it's the systems that made us silence it, right? Because if you talk to other people in the world who have grown up in other ways, our upbringing has a huge indicator on whether or not we trust ourselves, because that was your feedback from your environment. We are made of two things, nature and nurture, and they are both equally important. I know this after all my years of school in psychology. It was like, which is the one that forms people? It's both. You cannot separate them. The strings are too entangled. It's a root ball underneath the plant. There isn't one or the other. It is both. So nature and nurture are what either grow us, silence us, help us, suppress us. Like, it's all the things. Yeah, we're going to get into that. The first thing that I want to talk about is the myth of this broken intuition. Okay. This is a thing out there where people say, well, I don't have that. No, mine's broken. I can't trust it. It's never worked out for me. I do this and it's always the opposite thing that's actually real. I've had a lot of witches, a lot of young people, a lot of young women that have come to me with this over my 30 years of, just interacting with friends, listening to women problems, relationship stuff, like family, anything. And I feel like when they're alone in a safe space, they always actually know what to do. It's when they get around the people that shit just falls apart and they don't listen to themselves.
Oh, I think that's really true because you're influenced by what other people have to say. Just like, it's like, come on, we can go ride in the car with these guys. You're a 17-year-old girl and you're just like, yeah, these 25-year-old dudes, they don't mean us any harm. They just want to have a good time and go down to the river and with some beers and some weed and, party. And you're like,
Well, I bet all of us here could raise our hands and say, did you ever have a friend that got you into a bad situation? Because you were just like, yeah, you tried to follow their plan and they sort of convinced you that, oh, it's not going to be bad. Everything's going to be fine. Like, don't worry. Like, you're a worrywart. All the names they call you too, to try to to shove down that knowing that you have of like, this is wrong and we shouldn't do this. And I have a bad feeling about it. Your intuition is, I have a bad feeling about this. Yeah. That's your intuition. That's
exactly
what I feel like. When I say things like that to myself, that is my intuition talking.
I have a bad feeling about something like, this isn't going to turn out well.
This isn't going to, no, this is not going to turn out well. I was like, oh God.
That's your intuition speaking.
That is, and what's interesting for me, when I was in the military, I think that I put myself in a lot of situations that I probably wouldn't have because I believed that people who joined the military were like me, sort of very committed to doing the right thing and all about justice. And like, I learned very quickly within 6 months of being in the military that there is a percentage of them that sorry guys, Tank just came right out of the room. Something just got it. I don't know what just happened, but
there's like a spirit, and there must be a spirit or something.
My goodness.
He's freaked out by
Tank,
something.
Are you okay, buddy?
He did the Scooby-Doo claws.
Can't grip the ground. I don't know if you guys could hear that, but holy cow. And now he's looking at the door.
Staring at the door like,
waiting for something to come out.
Like, oh.
Shit.
Well, Tank's intuition is on high alert.
Yes, so he sees, hears, feels something. So I learned very quickly that where I thought people had integrity like me, I thought people would be more like me and why they joined the military. There's like, a good 25% of the people who actually joined because they didn't want to go to jail when I was in 1999. So I was like, oh shit, I'm not really with the, less than 1% of America joins the military, by the way, you guys. So this is a very small group of people. And I just thought if you're going to do it, you're going to do it with the best intentions. And that's just not the case.
That's just not the case.
It's just not the case. I was naive in that way. So I would hang out with all of these guys thinking they wanted nothing from me. There was nothing going on, blah, 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 blah. Boy, did I learn quickly that was not the truth. And got myself into some sticky situations that luckily I got out of mostly unscathed. I got harassed and shit talked to and mean things said about me, I guess, because again, of all the less than 1% people who join the military, even like 0.002 is women. So I was really alone, and it's like, what do you do? Mm-hmm. So when we get into those things where everybody's telling you it's going to be fine, have fun, don't worry about it, it's going to be great. Like you're this. They have lots of words for things, right? Hypochondriac. There's like worrywart.
Oh yeah.
What kind of? I got called a worrywart a lot. That was how people pacified my intuition.
Well, you know what? I'll tell you the thing that will impact me is if somebody's like, what a party pooper, or God. What a bitch.
Negative Nancy.
Yeah, negative Nancy, Downer Debbie.
Oh,
you're no fun.
I remember that
you're
one.
No fun. Come on, let's just go have fun. And then you're like, you're battling, internally going like, yeah, I just really don't feel like this is a good decision. But then you're being pressured by people who are like, oh, come on. What's the matter with you?
They make you feel like
there's something ridiculous. Wrong with you. Well, like there's something wrong with you.
Yeah, like this is what you're feeling is ridiculous. That's the feeling that I got when people called me those things. I'm like, yeah, no, I don't think so. So yeah,
and when you're young, I feel like it's really hard to like maintain your voice and stand up and be like, hard no for me.
Yeah,
hard no
absolutely.
for me, because
Definitely.
we don't have experience. We're a little on the naive side.
Definitely.
And we might be a little trusting, even if we're not trusting, but we're like, I should be trusting. Why am I just, what happened? When did the line happen? Yeah.
Me?
Like what, what's wrong with me? Why don't I feel like I can trust people? I mean, has something happened to me? And then you realize you watch horror movies your whole life, or you've read about murders, you watched all the serial killer murders and shit like that.
I read all the books of serial killers.
Yeah, my kids, my girls loved that shit. Like they were like glued to all the serial killers. My other daughter, she knows every fucking crime that's happened. She knows all the deals about the guy up there and somewhere that killed the 4 college students. Like she's in all that stuff. And the other thing about her that I could relate to that is she really operates a lot of times from a place of fear. So like these external things that have happened to other people, she's internalized and like that could have been me, or that could be me. And it could be us. But if you listen to your intuition, maybe not. Or yeah.
We're gonna sort of uncover what makes us act in that way, sort of deny what we're feeling because the people around us are telling us that everything is fine, and we go along with it, and we don't want to be a Debbie Downer or a party pooper or no fun. And like, who wants to be called no fun and not be fun? In your young years, that's not what you want to happen. You want to be accepted. Remember how psychology really plays into being accepted means that you survive. So it's sort of weird because when we have the bad feelings about, we think that this is not a good place for us, and the group is not accepting of that, then we feel on the outskirts like all of a sudden our, reptilian brain is then triggered to say, the group doesn't accept you, you might die alone now. And it's the craziest thing because the group is probably less safe than if you were alone and went back to your house and just did like a quiet evening in.
Well, here's where things, I feel like things can turn. Like if you are with a group and the group is like, come on. And then you're like, no, then the group is like, you're no fun. And then the group turns on you. I've had that shit happen to me too, where, a group of people turn on you and now all of a sudden you're having to defend yourself to a whole bunch of people because they're like, fuck her. She's, they dismiss you because you don't want to go along and get along and shit like that. And
none of that feels good.
Yeah.
So again, we get into the social settings that have this happen, and it could be social. We're talking about now that when we're in our 20s, but think about when you're with your family. Think about if you grew up in a super religious household. I mean, all of the influences that we can experience when we're young, from school systems to religions to family dynamics, all of these things can really shut down us listening to ourselves and having everybody else think for us, tell us what it's supposed to be, tell us that what you're thinking is wrong. You don't know what's going on. I'm older. I'm whatever. I'm all the titles that people also give themselves. This is where authority sort of tries to take over and say, no, here's the real thing. You're naive, young, dumb, whatever. Let me tell you how this is really going to go. And you start to rely on that, especially if that's given to you from a super early age where everything that you do is so determined by the people in your life. School is a terrible setup for not becoming self-sufficient, in my opinion. School makes you rely on being told what to do all of the time. And so when you get out into the world, I hear the young people say all the time, well, nobody told me to do that. Well, you didn't just think that you should take care of that. That never crossed your mind. Like the free thinking that should be going on, the problem solving gets shut down by so much authoritarian, telling everybody what to do stuff.
Yeah. March in line, little soldier, and do what you're supposed to do.
Do what you're supposed to do.
That's society.
Yeah. So I just want to stress that it's really not that you're disconnected from your intuition. It is that you are conditioned. This is a huge thing in psychology, that we get conditioned by our environment, by our families, by religions, by wherever we grew up. We have been conditioned. And the moment that you can just acknowledge that for yourself and say, where is my conditioning? What are the things that I do because I've always done them that way? That's conditioning. Unless you have specifically chosen a thing for yourself, I do this because I do this because I like it. I do this because it feels good for me. I do this because I want to do it. That is not a conditioning sentence, right? But when you are living a template that people set forth for you and you have just continued that on, traditions that you maybe don't agree with, but you're like, oh, we've always done it this way. We just got to do it this way. This is part of the thing that shuts down our intuition because we're not fully living in our body and asking what's good for us in this moment. It's like, nope. Did I please the crowd? Is everybody okay? Now we're all right. All right. We got to listen to everybody.
Oh gosh. And if you add into that dynamic, the pathological people pleaser types, who
we get conditioned to do that too,
who are the ones in the family who are always trying to keep the peace, then that person goes out into the world and they can really be taken advantage of, because now they're trying to please like the whole world, and there's a lot of not good people. But let's talk about before all that happened, when we were little and younger. We did know, we intuitively knew which people felt safe to us. And we had a sense of curiosity and excitement. And we also knew when something felt wrong. We may not have known what to do about it. I can think of the girls in my neighborhood when I was like 9, 10 years old were molested by our next door neighbor. And while I knew that it was wrong, whose phone is that?
That is your phone.
I swear to God, I turned it off. Sorry about that. I intentionally put the ringer down.
No, do not disturb is not on. Okay. So I put it on do not disturb.
Excuse us. I wasn't quite prepared. What was I saying? Oh yeah. So the girls, this thing that happened with the next door neighbor, that was the neighborhood molester guy. I had an inkling that it wasn't right, but didn't know what to do about it. So that's like a really young thing. And of course, the molester, was very like, oh no, it's okay. You're safe here. Or, doing whatever he could do to get us to do what he wanted to do, which was to sit on his lap so that he could take advantage of us.
Yeah.
So we knew something felt wrong, but an adult or adults like him, and this is how kids get molested.
Yeah.
Shit. Like when I think about all the stuff that's happened in churches, but we're told things like, in situations like, oh, you're too emotional, you're too dramatic, you're being irrational, all these things that people say to you to make you doubt, to make you doubt yourself, to make you doubt what you're feeling. They say those things to you, so that feeds more of the doubt, and then you're like, I don't know. I guess I'll just fall. I don't know. So I guess I'm just gonna go, right?
It instills that doubt, and then how do you ever get that out of your head after you've been told that for so long? After you've been conditioned. Again, this is a conditioning thing that happens to us, to not listen to ourselves, to trust what we're thinking and what we really want for ourselves. I think that's how sometimes we end up in places, relationships, jobs. Oh my gosh, I guess they are on your list of like, they can get through the do not disturb thing, but I'm going to turn it on airplane mode.
Okay.
It's because you don't have a choice when you're little, and nobody gives you the handbook to do this as soon as you get out of those situations. And so you're left wondering and sort of flailing around for a while until you find witchcraft or something else, psychology, a therapist. Like, you just don't know what you don't know. And for me, getting into witchcraft, psychology, and sciences was a way to literally undo all of the things that I had been conditioned to do and say, oh, you don't have to do it that way. So I sought knowledge that gave me permission to be different. And that was all I needed. I was like, something else has my back, right? Like, research has my back. Therapists say this. And so that has my back to believe what I wanted to believe. And I've just refined that over time. But when you're in it and nobody has given you the tools or told you that you're allowed to make a different choice, it's very fucking hard to break free from.
Well, and girls are, I know boys, this happens with boys too, but I think girls are really susceptible to this because we are praised from a very young age for being polite and agreeable and quiet and ladylike and nice and pleasant and sweet and smile more and all that bullshit.
And that's how our voices get hushed. Because that's how you get more love and more likability, is when you're all of the quiet, pleasant, pleasing, oh, she's such a good girl, all that shit. Yeah, that's just hushing the internal things. You're either swallowing it back, and then you see the girls who don't, right? So I think of Aries women, just because I've had a couple friends that are like this, they don't stand for anything, and they are labeled as problems. They're dramatic, they're this, they're that. And so then you get a bad rap and you see what happens to them. You see the ostracizing that happens when a woman does speak out. And you're like, oh shit, like that's
or
tough.
even when you just act out of the mold that they try to put you into, which is the smiling, happy, agreeable, compliant, pliable woman, young woman, and then, like young female, then young woman.
Yeah.
But, when they see, some in society have a problem when you're being like creative, or you're going out and getting dirty and playing in the woods. And it's
right?
like, no, that's not what little girls do.
Yeah.
Or you're running around with boys and, then they're giving you dirty looks and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then even like if you talk about your dreams and they're like, oh, that's silly. So you get,
girls
I feel
don't
like
do that.
Girls don't do. Girls play with dolls. They clean house. They iron. They cook, and they take care of their husbands. That's how I was raised. Now that's not what my girls heard.
Nope.
But for my generation, that is definitely what we were taught.
I grew up in the, late 80s, 90s, and I can remember mowing the lawn and the neighbors going, why are you mowing the lawn? Don't you have a brother? I was like, because I want money. Like, what do you mean? Like, I get paid to do this. So this is
also about roles then too. Like here's your here's your silo. You're a girl.
Yep.
And these are things that are acceptable for you to do according to society. Yeah. And then here's the things that you're not. Because
I didn't get questioned for all the babysitting that I did. Nobody was like, why are you babysitting? Like, no. But why don't mow the lawn? Oh shit. That's crazy. Not when my mom has a son. I can't. Where's that son at? He's not being a man. Like it's just the shit. Endless. Yeah.
It truly is.
The trauma creates survival patterns, and it really mutes our inner knowings, our inner workings. It's just like what you thought you knew, you learned to just be like, nope, that must be a lie. I obviously can't trust that voice. And so once trauma does happen to us, we go into survival mode. And once you hit survival mode, you can learn this in any psychology blog. It is very hard to come out of that. It is harder to recognize. You've conditioned yourself now. Once you've been traumatized, once you've been a victim, coming out of that is so incredibly hard because everything remembers. And you're like, oh, I remember when I was brave and something happened to me. So being brave is really difficult. Stepping outside of your comfort zone, staying small feels so safe. So being traumatized, it's like, you try to set boundaries, you try to have self-compassion or do self-care. And guess what? There's going to be people around you that are going, well, you're fucking selfish, aren't you? Look at you being lazy on a Saturday, not taking care of anything. Like, you don't have your stuff. Like what? It's the judgment from others. See, this is why we all want to be witches who live in the woods with nobody around us. Absolutely. So that there's no judgment. I get it. Sometimes when I talk about these things, I always think of that. Like, if we were living alone in the woods and nobody bothered us, we wouldn't hear this shit and we could do whatever we wanted. We learn that it's our job to put other people first. Like that's sort of what society starts telling us young, is that your job, your role, the expectation placed on you is that to be nurturing, which means to not nurture yourself, to nurture other people.
Also, many women learned that self-trust was dangerous. Yeah. So when systems rely on obedience, self-trust is a threat to that system. And that is a fact. I think about religion. Like if you try to step out, if you're in a religion, and I practiced, so I was raised Catholic, but then when I got into my teenage years, I tried on all kinds of different religions, but they all basically had the same thing, like conform, here's the box, stay in the box. Yeah, obedience, like follow these rules, follow this person, do what this says. And when you buck that system, when you go against it, it can feel threatening, or you can be threatened.
They're threatened by it.
They're threatened by it. And then consequently that's turned on to you.
Yeah.
Because if you feel threatened, and now you're a problem that has to be fixed. This happens in, of course, we talked about religion. It also happens in schools, like you said.
Oh my gosh.
In marriages.
For sure.
I feel like, looking back on my life, every one of my relationships was like, I shouldn't have been in there. I should have known better,
But it was also...
But I was also conditioned to be the type of woman who's like, even if my husband, boyfriend, whatever, live-in partner wasn't living up to what was expected of him in the role that he was in, I was still expected to do all the things that I did, which
Yeah.
was a really sucky place to be when you're looking at the other person going like, what the fuck are you doing? You know?
Well, and we were just talking the other day about how women, since we've been hushed, silenced, tried to like, you know, in this obedient thing, right? Don't think for yourselves, don't do anything, blah, blah, blah. And I'm talking like the last several thousand years since the goddess was literally suppressed and written language and all of that. Women have paid the ultimate price when they do step out of line. I mean, Kat was just looking at medieval torture devices for women who spoke out against their husbands or did anything that was like, if they, you know, considered rumors and shit, just like the different
Gossiping
things that they did to women to punish us.
Mm-hmm.
That's not that long ago, you know?
Yeah.
It's not that long ago. And it's like,
no, 1500s, in the 1500s, they had a device that was like that they put over if you watch The Handmaid's Tale, you know, this, like they kept their mouths, they put this thing over their mouth so they couldn't talk. Well, in the 1500s, they had a device that went over women's heads and their husbands could do this. And then they like put a sign on them. There's like drawings of this, right? Where it shut them up because they said something their husband didn't like, or, you know, they had opinions. No, well, women weren't allowed to have opinions. So they shut them up. And and not only did they shut them up, but then they shamed them, you know, and publicly shamed them for being somebody who spoke out against, you know, the God Almighty man, you know, who's fucking running everything. I hate that. God.
I know we could rant on that, but
totally rant on that.
The thing about it is that we want you to know that your intuition really did not disappear. It didn't disappear. What actually happened is it went underground to protect us. Like, it's always there. You're born with it. You literally cannot snuff it out. You cannot listen to it, but you can't snuff it out. It's always going to be there. But I think that from all of the abuse that women have suffered over the last, you know, we'll just put an endless date on that. The intuition part and us feeling like we really need to speak out, I think that it truly went underground to protect us because our lives were at stake there, you know, and
absolutely.
I just, that is my thinking, that it went underground. So if anything, all the seeds are there. We just haven't watered it enough. We haven't exercised to like bring it to fruition, right? But it is there. You're probably going to realize that when you are at a safe place, like when you get out of relationships, when I don't know, mine was very strong in the military too. I can't say. I don't know if mine ever really disappeared except in times when I was really fighting for my life to like just not want to hurt somebody else or hurt myself, you know, in like the really, really dark days. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, it's when you start feeling safe enough to hear it again is when it comes back. Women who are not in safe situations where they don't feel safe. And I mean like safe to speak about anything that you want to around your family, you know, even when you start witchcraft, that can be really scary. You know, it can be scary to think that this is still punishable in other countries by death, that people still seek people out and hurt them because of this, that it can be a real war inside of you. So until you feel safe, you may not give your intuition a chance to be heard because it is so rooted in the old ways of the goddess of like being able to be this full version of ourselves that has been snuffed out for so long. It's scary. And so we understand that. But I just want to say it's like a new skill. You have it. You can learn it. It is in your bones. You're born with it. It's just been in hiding because it's what's kept us safe. We had to do that. We couldn't speak out, you know? So it's unfortunate that we absorb the energy of our surroundings and that we're put through this. But again, this is the classroom for the souls, right? All of this, we came here in these experiences with these bodies so that we're really in charge of how we work through each of our experiences, not what ends up happening to us. That's a good way to take control of your story and say, I'm not responsible for the things that happen to me, but I am responsible with how I react to the situations that have happened, and then like what I do with that. How do I grow from that? How do I learn from it? What do I do with that experience? Because your soul came here to learn lessons. And I always keep that in the back of my mind with all the hard shit, with like almost losing my husband and my child this year. I kept thinking, this is really fucked up, universe. Like, why? You know, you try to do the pleading thing. I'm a good person. Like why I don't deserve this? It isn't even about that. The universe is giving us situations that are fucked up so that we can do something with that. And I'll tell all of you, if you've been through stuff, there's other people who have been through that same thing. And like us, we created a channel, we created a voice for it, we created it where we could share ours so that other people didn't feel alone. If you've got stories like that, the best thing that you can do is tell other people about it. Do it under a fake name. Do it while you don't show your face. Go to Toastmasters and have speeches about. Do something to get your story out there. And that is major healing when you can start speaking your truth. I mean, I think that's
and you know what the other thing that does. We had. Do you remember the lady?
The lady, yep.
In our group, or in our meetup that. You told her that you were like,
I did.
You need to make a YouTube
channel.
What that also does, it not just helps you, but it helps other people when they hear it.
People, yeah.
When they hear you be strong, when they're like, shit.
They hear you step out.
Yeah, they hear you step out. They hear you be strong. They hear you stand up. And then they realize it's like, damn, I can do that. So let's talk about what intuition actually feels like, because it's not a booming voice from the skies that's saying, don't date that man. Though honestly, sometimes it should be.
It would be nice if we had more direct, just like cut in and stop us. But the mistakes are what make this life a learning lesson, so. And we have to go through the processes. I can appreciate all of this, even though it's fucked up. I can appreciate all of this as learning things because our soul doesn't die. So what is the ultimate thing that we're all usually afraid of is like dying, death, pain, fear, all of that. That's going to happen no matter what. So the things that happen to us in our lives, take those experiences and learn from them, do something good with them, turn them into something, help other people because that happened to you. There's lots of stories out there of that, and I love it.
Most of the time, your intuition is very subtle. It's a whisper, a soft tug, or a tightening in your chest, a thought that won't leave you alone. It's quiet because it learned to survive that way by being quiet.
Yeah. That's what I think about it going underground.
Yeah. Well, for such a long time, we weren't safe. We didn't. I mean, when did we get the right?
Are we safe now?
We're not safe now. We're probably less safe now than we were back when we were being more controlled. Just because now that we're speaking out, and the patriarchy and the men in the world are having to, they're having to deal with us standing up for ourselves, and they're like.
It is a little scary for sure.
I mean, there was just a woman who was killed. She was a welder. I don't know if anybody's seen this, and I know you haven't because you don't watch the news. But there was a young woman who was a welder, and a guy that she worked with. She complained to HR like 5 times about this guy harassing her, and HR did nothing. And one day he came into work and took a sledgehammer to her and killed her. And this is all caught on. I'm sorry. That's very upsetting.
So graphic.
I'm sorry.
I was not ready for that.
It was, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, but I mean, so we're not safe. So sometimes your intuition, I feel like, is going to tell you it's time to shut up.
Get the fuck out. No,
get
the
time,
fuck out.
It's time
Leave.
to shut up, or it's time to leave, or it's time to like exit this, or no, because sometimes it's not safe to speak up.
No. I think about the famous people. Sometimes they get like the death threats and how they handle all these things. And, Drew Barrymore, who I love, we share a birthday, and I have witnessed her stalking situation. And it's like, she's not doing anything to provoke these people besides being herself.
Just being Drew Barrymore.
In the public eye, right? Being Drew Barrymore.
Sure,
And it's insane that the fixations that people get, or whatever the reason is in their head. I don't even look into why these people do these things and how they can sort of finagle and get past security and do the stuff. And like, there was a guy who broke into Taylor Swift's house years ago and was sleeping in her bed for 3 days before they figured it out. Now, she wasn't she wasn't at her house, but like these things happen where women are still not safe.
Yeah.
And I would say choose safety over your voice any day. Absolutely. Get away from it. Find someone, be with a friend. I am not telling you to go out there and be unsafe just so that you can listen to your intuition. That would be the last thing I would tell you to do. Your intuition should tell you that it's not safe when not to speak, and kind of like hold it in like, yep, I'm not welcome here. Because I think when we start to hear it, it's more about, this is not the right place for me. This is what I need to do. I don't think our intuition says, fight that guy over there. Like, it's not an aggression.
No,
it's not aggressive. And it's not something that puts us in harm's way. Your intuition is usually trying to tell you the thing that you need to do that is the best thing for you, Yeah. And it's harder to listen to because we try to rationalize it. So your intuition really comes from like your heart space, your creative center. It's all down here in your body. And our brain tries to rationalize it and go, oh, but no, no. I got to bring up a movie that I absolutely love. I love this movie. I love the book. he's just not that into you.
Oh yeah, I love that movie.
Because one of the things that really happens in that movie, besides the relationship stuff, is that every time the girl thinks that she has a handle on her situation, on whether a guy likes her or not, there's a friend going in, yeah, but no, my cousin, that happened to her, and then she ended up married. And like, people will tell you what you want to hear to keep you there. They will tell you what you want to hear to keep you happy,
to keep
subdued,
you. I think it's happy because that's the thing with in that movie that they were telling her is like, I mean, they were trying to be helpful. They were trying to be good friends. Like
they had good intentions.
They were trying to alleviate her, anxiety over a situation with a guy about, this guy or that guy. And when she finally has if you guys have ever seen it, when she finally starts to really put all the pieces together, and this is after she has a conversation with the bartender, it kind of opens her eyes like, oh shit, well, this happened and this happened and this happened. And she
yeah, well, it's pattern recognitions. It's really looking into it. The reflection that goes on where she steps back from the situation. And then she realizes that everybody's just been telling her these things that also string her along. So not only is the guy stringing her along, but like all the friends are sort of stringing her along, telling her, no, that could work. That could be okay. So we're going to get into like, what does intuition really feel like? And intuition is like this. It is never something that is, I can't say never. I'm going to speak from my own experience because I obviously cannot
speak for everyone in the world.
Yeah, listen, the way that my intuition shows up is it always presents like I am at, when a road ends and you can only go like left or right.
Mm-hmm.
Your intuition shows you have reached a point and there is a decision to be made. And it is never going, you must go left, because the more intense it is, that's probably fear. The more that something is screaming at you, it's probably fear. Your intuition just goes, that's not right. And it's just that subtle. And you hear it and you're like, it's not right. Is it not right? All that second guessing, all that extra mind chatter, that's fear. That's your brain. That's you trying to analyze the situation and make the most rational decision. Your intuition is just going to simply state something. You can go left or right here. And you're like, okay. You know what those both look like, but your intuition is letting you know a choice needs to be made right now. And it's going to let you make it because, again, we have free will, right? So we're not here living a template with this whole set life. We have things that we definitely want to accomplish to learn life lessons, but they can happen in many, many different ways. So when your intuition hits, it's more like this neutral or gentle nudge. It's very steady. It doesn't have fear involved in it. It doesn't sound like, oh my God, girl, get up, blah, blah, blah. That it's already too late. If you're hearing that, that's already the fear because you knew you shouldn't be there in the first place. Fear knows that is the intense feeling of knowing that something bad is coming because you already know that this is wrong.
Because you've already turned left when you should have taken right.
Yes, you already did
you already got in the car with the 4 guys when you probably shouldn't have.
Yeah.
And it's too late now.
Yeah. So fear is like really loud. It's urgent. It's panicky. It makes you, it's the fight or flight thing. That's fear speaking. But when intuition comes in, it's very mellow. It's very calm. It's very direct. And the emotion comes when you start thinking about which decision you're going to make. When you start thinking about like, oh shit, oh that, oh no. That is the difference between fear and intuition. So, and then you can think of wishful thinking. So also this is like the hopefulness. So this goes back to that movie probably.
Yeah.
Where
and
it's
women,
like,
I mean,
we do this.
Trained?
The spark.
Were we trained? Is this like ingrained into us or some shit? Because I feel like this is so many women and I don't like, where did that come from?
Romance novels, movies. Yeah. I mean, there's poetry that makes us really excited.
Yeah, it's Cinderella
the perpetuation of other people's success stories that were bad and turned out. You look at these stories that the moral of the story is, okay, the moral of the story is it's a fucking story and it's not real life. That's what the moral is for all of the things. You can use them to guide yourself, but do not follow them directly and believe that you're going to be the Cinderella. Like, that's a bad place to put yourself in. So wishful thinking is that like fuzzy, excited, like, I don't know. Oh my gosh, I don't know. You do know, girl. You do know. Everybody knows. You know. But you're just like, I don't know. Oh my gosh. It's like, this is all. That is just wishful thinking. Like, you need to bring it down a couple notches so that you can really listen.
Your intuition can speak through your body too, like expansion. Yes. When your body's...
Yeah, expansion is like, oh my God, this feels amazing. Like for me, it's nature. Expansion for me happens in nature. So my husband really doesn't like it that I'm adventurous when we're on a path. And and you know this, you're on a path in a park, and then there's like a little side quest trail that's not as walked, and you can tell it's a trail, but not many people go down it. I get really excited. I was like, I want to go down that trail.
Yeah.
What's over there? There's got to be a view. Somebody knows something.
Yeah.
I have that. That is expansion. You're getting more from a situation. It's not scary. It's like, oh my gosh, this is so exciting. Imagine all the things. That's expansion.
And tightening?
When your body tightens. Okay, so this is, I told you about the time when we were just recently in Ireland, and we went to this like very old, like 5,000-year-old like hut thing. And
was that the thing with that was
yes,
like this?
The wavy wall thing. I don't even know what to call it.
Yeah.
Okay, it had so the wall is very thick, like, I don't know,
3 or 4 feet, 4 feet thick.
4 feet thick, probably.
So
maybe
it
even
was
5.
built, it was like a
big.
It was a fortress.
It was a fortress.
Yeah.
A very old community there. I mean, there was not a lot of information on it. I think they don't even actually know who built it. But in this big thing, it has no roof, so you could walk the entire perimeter. It was the coolest thing ever. But inside of it, there were these 2 holes built into the wall, which sort of look like fireplaces, but there's no chimney coming out the top. But they're little nooks that you go into. My adventurous self's like, I want to see what's in there. You know, This is an ancient structure. I turned on my camera with the flashlight. I barely get in the hole, and my body was like, no. It felt instantly a no. And I was like, I don't know if it was the spirits of the place. I don't know what it was, but my body was like, no. And that's what it is. I'm physically like retracting into myself. My limbs go in.
That sounds like me looking down a dark alley.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's the feeling you get where you're like, your body literally is like, no. You start turning away.
Yeah.
How about and this hasn't happened to me in a really long time, but you go to a bar or something, you're out somewhere socially, and you are in your own space, you're owning it, you're like, your elbows are out, you're not fucking meek and mild, you're owning your space, and somebody walks into your space and you're instantly like, ugh, like you need to get out of where they're now intruding. That is the tightening. That is your intuition going, no, I do not want any part of this. Nothing. Yeah. And then we talk about nausea. So that topsy-turvy feeling of the nausea for me, that happens a lot with driving. I can see a car that's acting irresponsibly, and I get that upset stomach feeling. Like I do feel very uncomfortable, where I'm like, oh, stay away from them. Something is definitely wrong. And I'm one of those people who have definitely called the non-emergency 911 and been like, this person is driving erratically. Like, I don't want them to kill anybody. Because imagine you don't call it in and your family member's on the road, or anybody, I don't care. And an innocent person is killed by a terrible driver because they're drunk or they're stupid or they're whatever. I call it in all the time. So when I get that feeling, I notice. Yeah. So anxiety versus intuition. Do we want to hit on that for just a second?
Sure.
This is conditioning. This is where in your life you have been traumatized, and this is really hard, and you will have to do work around having anxieties and then learning to trust your intuition because the trauma. This is, for me, it's huge. I've been traumatized multiple times in my life. I've recovered, but that shit still comes up sometimes. I can't always understand what I'm feeling. That is when I turn to divination. That is when I turn to my mom or my sister. This is when I go to other people and I'm like, I need to check in with somebody because I'm actually not sure if my trauma is speaking or if like this is really me, So having a check-in system that comes with that is what I would suggest. If you have anxiety around a lot of stuff where it never feels steady and calm, that intuition never comes through like that, start checking in with people that you truly trust, that really want your best interest at heart. So that doesn't always mean family or your spouse, just somebody who really has your best interest at heart, and then they can see what's going on a little more clearly and can tell you, yeah, that sounds like anxiety about that, because that's not really like, I don't see that happening for you. It's got to be somebody you super, super trust, because that's hard handing that over. I don't hand that over to a lot of people. And even when I ask you or sister or my husband for advice or anything, I still filter that a little bit.
Oh, sure.
Because I'm like,
yeah.
It's still a little filtered, but I need a check-in with some things to be like, am I crazy here? Like, is this, what do you think of that? Like, I just propose things. That's how I check myself.
So we can reclaim our wild voice with tiny acts of boldness. So,
Oh, yes.
Rebuilding your intuition is like rebuilding confidence. You need proof, small proof, tiny wins.
Yes.
One brave choice at a time.
Yes. Yeah. Every time you act on your intuition, it will get louder. So every time that you trust it, it goes forward, it works out for you, it will get louder. It will keep trying to talk to you. It will keep building, because the whole point of intuition is to keep us safe. It's to keep us on our purpose. It's to keep us moving. So it's like you listen, they're like, all right, cool. Let's keep going. It's like talking to your spirit guides. When you recognize the signs and the symbols, they just give you more and they give you more and they give you more. And it's amazing. So start with like micro intuitive decisions. You know, what do you genuinely want to eat? And I hate that one because I struggle with food a lot. So
I'm so tired of trying to figure out what to eat.
I wish I didn't have to eat.
That's I know. It's just tedious.
Yeah. Leaving when the vibe feels off. These are micro decisions. Just leaving, just being like, you know what? I think I'm done here. I have a lot of times where I wish I would have done that. Nothing necessarily bad ended up happening, but I stayed and was miserable for longer than I really needed to be. You know what I mean? Like I just stayed in a situation where I was unhappy. Why? Why did I stay so long? How about saying no without like a 4-paragraph explanation? Just being able to say no to people. Practice that. No with no other thing. Like say no and then just stare at them. Because they're going to be like, no, because what? Because you probably over-explain yourself a lot. I know I did. And just say no and then give the ball to them. That's it. Just be like, no. They'll be like, but, no, no. And you can say things like, I don't want to. You could, but that's just you're giving them words to say back to you. So I would think also keep a journal of it. Like when I first started getting signs from the universe, I kept a journal of that so that I could record things because it got me really excited. So when you're trusting your intuition, keep a journal about it. I think that's great. Practice letting yourself want things, like actually want them and being okay with that. There's no guilt in wanting something. There's no guilt in that. Let yourself want the things because now you're taking care of you. Remember how this all came back to like we shut down our own needs. We shut down everything we wanted. We're conditioned to be for everybody else. Allow yourself to want the things without guilt. And then recognize your intuitive thoughts in real time. This is a harder skill because you really have to hear your internal thoughts and not mitigate them. Like sometimes we say something in our head and then we shut it down, or fear speaks up, or it's like, you're like, oh, I wish I could. Girl, you know you can't afford that.
Counter it. Yeah, we do a counter argument.
We do.
You know?
Yep, in our head. No,
you can't have that. No, you don't want that. Do you really want that? No, you don't. Yeah. You don't really want that.
It's not like the devil and the angel sitting on his shoulders. It's like your intuition and society over here. Like all the things you ever heard from society over here going like, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, that's what it's like. I think that I didn't put this in here, and I don't know if you remember me talking about this, but when I've had other people try to trust their intuition, I tell them to go for a drive or go for a walk and like let your intuition lead you.
Yeah.
And that's where you can start to feel where all of a sudden you get to a crossroads of something and you're like, ooh, I want to go that way. Intuition. See, that's an expansion of self that feels good. That's something that's like there's no fear wrapped around that. You're not.
It's exploring too. It is. You know, just letting yourself
trust. There's nothing scary about
trusting yourself to explore and find out what's to the right
to lead you to the thing,
to lead you to something
to lead you. Yeah,
you know, a beautiful path, a really cool meadow. You know. Birds or some other wild animals.
It's happened to me a million times and I still love it. Like I go out in my yard every day with sort of just like, what am I going to find today? Like, oh my goodness, it's going to be so cool. Sometimes it's cool, sometimes it's not, but I still find shit. I'm like amazed by wildlife. So we're going to do a spell/ritual that's kind of calling back in the wild. Yeah?
Okay.
You ready for it?
Let's do it.
All right. Wrote this, very simple, very small, easy, doable. It's the wild returning ritual. So you're trying to get that wild side of you that's not been suppressed by society and school and religion and your parents and your friends and whoever, your exes and all the things that people told you about yourself that probably aren't true. They just didn't like it. We're going to have that wildness return to you. And all you need is a candle, any color that speaks to you. Get your favorite color, like any candle, but get your favorite color. Get a scrap of paper, and then something safely to burn it in or burn it on or to throw it into or to put it at the sink is fine.
We're going to burn.
We're going to burn always.
Okay.
Transformation.
The next thing you're going to do is write down every moment that you were told you were too much, too emotional, too dramatic, too intuitive, too wild, or too something else. Too something else.
Yep.
Once you've written down on a piece of paper, I probably would need more than a scrap.
I know, it's not a scrap. I should have reread that when I wrote it. Scrap. And then every time, like, think of the last time.
Right, think of the last time, or something really big.
Or the first thing that happened.
Or
the worst thing.
Or a big moment.
Yeah.
You know, when you did that and you realized later that, like, damn, I did not listen
something
to
that still sticks with you.
Yeah,
like, to
something
this
you
day,
remember,
something
yeah.
that still sticks with you.
Once you've got it written down, you're going to burn it and let the smoke carry those old stories away. And while you do that, you're going to say out loud with your whole chest.
The whole chest. Open it up. Be broad. Go ahead.
Okay. My knowing is mine. My voice returns. My wild is awake.
My wild is awake.
My wild is awake.
I just love that.
I love that too.
I know.
And if you can't
My
remember
wild is
anything
awake.
else, say my wild is awake
My
3 times.
wild is awake.
And then keep repeating it.
Mm-hmm.
Say it 3 times if you want that extra witchy kick, or as many times as you need to say it to really believe it.
Put it as your screensaver on your phone.
Yeah. My wild is awake.
My wild is awake. I'm noticing now. Because when I think of awake, I think of when you're awake, you notice things. So you're no longer just like sort of living in the gray, like the wool is pulled over your eyes. Like, I don't know, just the things, the systems, the whatever.
Autopilot? How about autopilot? Or we're just going along doing the things that we've always done.
Yeah.
You know, that aren't really making us happy. They're just really sustaining life, pretty much. That's it. And we're not growing. We're not growing. We're not experiencing a lot of joy, potentially. I mean,
you're not doing the things that you want to do.
Yeah, doing the things you want to do. I'll tell you, the best thing I'm not advocating for anybody to like dump their boyfriend or husband, but the best thing that's worked, the thing that has given me the most peace in my life is finally being alone with myself and not having anybody else to take care of and just taking care of me. And that is enough work. I don't want to take care of anyone else.
That's what you realize. When you do start filling your own cup, you realize you're a lot of fucking work. Like, to take care of yourself.
Well, you know what else you realize is like, oh my God, I spent my whole fucking life taking care of, this is me now. I spent my whole life taking care of motherfuckers. Like I've been other people I took care
Their
of.
needs.
Husbands, boyfriends, kids, probably family members, although I didn't.
Animals.
Yeah, some animals. And then what did I do for me? Nothing. I got fat. I was out of shape. I was not happy. Yeah.
All that self-sacrificing.
Yeah. All the
which we're told is what we're supposed to do.
Yeah.
That's that. Yeah.
So how do we carry this forward?
Yeah. Carrying this forward looks like tracking it, writing it down. You want to remember it. For anybody out there, like, I don't know how good your guys' memory is with shit, but you go to do something new and change something and you're good at it for one day because you're all built up about it. But try to give yourself a little more grace and track all these little intuitive hits that you might have throughout the day. It can get as good as predicting that you're going to be called as the bingo winner or your name's going to be called on something or you know that your seat selection is this. Like, that's how good I've gotten with my intuition. I can feel that shit coming right before it hits and I'm okay with it. I go to games knowing that these are not the things that I will win at, and I go to other stuff knowing that this is where I need to be. And I do it for the experience. So it's like, it's okay to go places and not be able to get anything from them, and then go to other places and get all the love and joy and predictions that you could ever want, you know, to know that the songs are coming on the radio, to know that people are going to call you, to know that you're going to get the bingo, whatever. I have very real examples of doing that. And I always thought that was like spell work, but it was really my intuition telling me what was about to happen. So I didn't know which was which when I was younger. I used to be like, did I just make that happen? No, I felt it coming and like acknowledged it, you know, moments before it did. So just track it. That will make you feel better. You'll see your little wins, your little successes, the progress that you're making. Always ask your body, like, does this feel like a yes or no for me? And be honest with yourself. You could still say that this is a no for me and do it anyways because you feel obligated, because you're not ready to tell people no. But ask yourself, is this a yes or no for me in your body? Are you retracting or are you expanding with this? Are you welcoming this in with open arms and like, oh my God, I'm so excited. I can't wait. Go to the Taylor Swift concert. Yes. Can't wait. And I hate crowds. And I did not want to be in a stadium full of so many people. I was terrified of that, but I wanted to go to a concert. Like if I was going to ever go to a concert, it was my first concert. This is going to be it for me. So go do the thing, but allow yourself to know what your body feels if it's a yes or no for you.
Also, allow yourself to act without gathering external data.
Ooh, that's the brain.
It's sort of external validation rather than not data, but
that's
data too.
Data
too. Like, are you having to pull in things from the outside, like clicking off stuff?
Everybody else telling you yes?
Are you like checking with everyone else, even mentally or not subconsciously?
Yeah, for sure.
You're doing that, like that it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, allow yourself to gather external allow yourself to act
external validation.
External validation.
Because that's how we have been shut down and hushed, is because we stopped trusting our voice within and we looked outside of ourselves for answers, which divination is a way that we do this. It is a way to bounce answers off of something else so that we feel okay with our yeses.
I feel like divination is more like a guide. Like I know that this is a situation I need to deal with and I need some guidance.
Yeah, but I've seen women specifically obsessed with, they have to ask the cards before they do something.
Oh, okay.
They truly turn to that as their end all be all. The cards could tell me something and I'll still do what the hell I want.
Yeah.
Like that's when I know it's really for me. I'd be like, I'm doing that. I know you said no. Cool. I respect your answer. Thank you. I'll let you know how it goes, but I'm going to do it. Like I'm still going to do what I want to do, even if the cards advise me not to. And there's a lesson in that, whether it turns out good or bad, or I'm like, I accept the consequences or whatever
might be the tiny rebellions that we want you to practice. So practice tiny rebellions. Yeah. Choosing without apologizing, resting when your body says to rest, or saying no as a full sentence.
Really saying no.
No is a complete sentence.
No is a full sentence.
Yes.
Absolutely. Remember that intuition and creativity are siblings. Okay. Intuition and creativity. This happens here in the body, right? It comes from the same chakra centers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, same energy centers of the body. So reclaiming one unlocks the other. So do more creative things will help you with your intuition. Following your intuition will help you be more creative. These things go hand in hand. They're siblings. Yeah.
Yeah. So take up something creative, like, I don't know, you're trying embroidery now?
I'm doing embroidery now, yes. Yep. I just started. I wanted to learn how to embroider a moon because, now I have to tell the story. I want to make my clothes my own. I'm so tired of just boring ass clothes from the store that have no character. Everything's fucking boring. And I'm not willing to learn how to sew and do all the things yet. So I was like, you know what? I was going to stamp my clothes. And I still may do some of that because I've seen some really cool things and I'm super crafty. And if it's not perfect, there's no perfect in my world. I like things that look messy. But then I was like, embroidery might last longer and I can shape the things and I can choose the colors. And I didn't know this, but embroidery thread is super cheap. Now it's time consuming as hell, but so
you should do it when you're watching TV?
Do it. Yeah. I don't know. So this is what I'm going to do instead of doom scrolling. I'm embroidering.
And me, I want to learn to knit.
I tried knitting. It was terrible. I didn't really give myself a good chance.
I know I crochet. I used to crochet a lot. I've made big blankets and stuff like that when I was young, but I've never learned to knit.
And knitting is different because it's more.
Yeah, there's two needles and I don't even know where to start. So that's one of the things I want to do is learn to knit.
I just want to make my own stuff. I want everything to be authentically mine. That's my goal, I think, is to not have regular, plain, no character, no life.
I love the idea of putting little witchy symbols embroidered on your clothes in different places.
Well, I've drawn them with markers on the inside, I've given myself runes or protection sigils or something, not on everything. I don't always feel the need to, but there's been times in my life where, my shoes, the purse, everything had something on it because I was just dealing with a lot. And now I'm just at this place where I want witchy symbols on all my shit. So no matter what day I'm dressing myself and where I'm going, people are like, they may not say it, but they'll be like, is she a witch? She might be a witch. Like, look what she did. If people are questioning that, I'm doing what I want to do. Yes, I love that. So that's my whole goal. Is that I have people questioning whether or not I'm a witch, and I'm okay with that. They don't have to ask me, or they could. It doesn't matter either way. But that's the vibe I'm trying to pull off with my clothes. That's the direction I'm headed. So, yeah, embroidering is going to help me get there. That's half of it.
I love it. Remember, you were never disconnected. You were never broken. Your intuition has been waiting for you to call her home.
That's right. And she's ready to get loud again. Okay, we're literally in that time frame. The planets, the shifts, like all the things we've been saying.
Oh my gosh,
for
there's
years.
so much going on in the sky that's supporting this change right now.
The shift for us.
Yeah, the shift for women. Yeah.
I'm always using the word reclaim because it was always ours. We just, went underground and went in hiding to keep us safe. But we reclaiming it, being louder than shame or other people's opinions or being subjected to like what everybody taught you that is silence. Like, fuck that. That's why I'm not afraid to cuss on here. I don't care. Listen, if it's not for you, it's not for you. That's okay.
Well, if you do love this episode, be sure to share it with another witch who's learning to trust herself again.
Absolutely. And if your intuition is telling you to come and hang out with us, sister witches out there, we're in
Sarasota, Florida, so hit us up.
Please.
Yeah, because we would love to do a moon
Witch
ritual down at the beach, a gathering in a park, anything.
Absolutely.
Come to our house, have some tea.
Tell you. Yeah. I know we just talked about like serial killers and trusting people, but we're very trusting. If you say you're a witch, you're probably getting invited to the house. Like it doesn't take nothing.
Yeah, but we'll probably be outside when you're at the house. Jayme's got a fabulous yard, which of course all witches would want to be in.
Oh, the gardens.
And I've got a goddess circle in my backyard that
you won't be like trapped in a house. We're also not going to kill you, just so you know. We're not inviting you over to sacrifice you. This is an open invitation for witches to come and gather with like minds to learn, to grow.
Yeah, please. Let's be friends.
Let's be friends.
Let's be friends.
Until next time, witches.
Stay wild, stay wise, and stay magical.
We'll see you.
Love you.
Bye.